Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to an Otaku's Guide to Santa's Reindeer. We are trying to work our way through all these different reindeer and stuff, and some of them are nice, some of them are horrible. They're a proper mix of characters, and they're all a little bit weird. But yeah, it is a new day. When I wake up, my headache is mostly gone. I roll over and turn on my satellite phone to check for any messages, but there's not a single one. I don't feel too disappointed though, I knew it was a long shot. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, so I quickly stash the phone back into the drawer and sit up. Come in. It's Rudolph. He's poked his head in. I should have guessed. As much as Comet talks about manners, he never knocks before entering. Hey, Comet asked me to bring you breakfast. Wow, you didn't have to do that. I'll be right down. Everybody else has already left. You can't have slept through the whole morning. Oh, you should have woken me up. Sorry, I'll remember that for next time, I promise. No, I didn't mean for it to sound like I was upset with you or anything. I just meant that I feel kind of guilty for causing you trouble. It's no trouble. Everybody sort of agrees that it's my responsibility to take care of you. Why? You didn't cause the blizzard. I laugh, but Rudolph doesn't join me. Reindeer can't do that, can they? Change weather and stuff? No, it's not like that. Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. Just forget it, okay? Please, I know that others wouldn't like you feeling bad just because of me. I'm supposed to take care of you, not cause you more problems. Don't worry about it, my lips are sealed. Though I don't see what the big deal is. I must be missing something. I'm glad. Even though Comet ordered me to help you, I would have offered anyway. I like you. Rudolph goes from smiling to looking utterly devastated in the span of 5 seconds. I kind of like to talk to you. I know what you meant, and I like you too. That really is weird to say out loud. Oh, please, eat your breakfast, and I will see you again soon. Rudolph leaves the tray of food on my lap before leaving. I lift the lid, and to my pleasant surprise, it isn't bacon and eggs, but a thick porridge with apple chunks, and it smells strongly of cinnamon. I polish off my breakfast and get dressed before heading downstairs. Comet is sitting at the dining table, writing with a quill. I try to peek over his shoulder, but the moment he notices me, he pops the pen into the jar of ink next to him, and everything he'd written vanishes. Okay, what was that? Polite people don't ask questions they know will never be answered, and kind people answer the questions without complaint. I retort, and Comet's full attention falls on me. I stand my ground and lift my head up higher, for once determined not to let his bad attitude get the better of me. Touché. Wow, did he just look impressed? Is what I would say if having you around didn't make the whole room smell like a barn. When was the last time you had a bath? That's kind of personal, dude. No, it's disgusting. You should get to the bathhouse right away. Okay, and what if I don't want to go? You'd be foolish not to. Well, if I were home, you wouldn't have to worry about my hygiene, would ya? Why can't I go back? I was outside all day, and there wasn't even the slightest gust. I'm starting to think that this so-called blizzard is just some sort of hoax to keep me here. Why on earth would we actively try to keep you here? Obviously, you're part of the reason, if you think that's a clever deduction. Go to the control centre and see what's going on for yourself. I've got no time to educate the hopeless. Okay, maybe I will. And the bath? I'll think about it. Comet gathers his things and gets up from the table. Well, while you think things through, I've got lunch to prepare and business to attend to. With that, Comet leaves. I stand in the doorway, wondering what to do next. I do kind of agree that a bath's kind of overdue, and it'd be nice to soak in a hot tub. Then again, the whole blizzard thing just seems too suspicious not to check out. Ultimately, no matter what I choose, I know that Comet is going to be too happy to get rid of me. Where do we go? Wow, rebel. Control center, bath. Are we going to risk a bath scene? How can we not? How can we not? Rudolph offers to take me to the bathing house, but can barely finish his sentence through his embarrassment, so I decide to face it alone. It's not too far from the cottage, and it's pretty hard to miss, what with the steam rising from behind the small changing hut. There we go. I enter the building, and much to my embarrassment, Dancer, Vixen and Blitzen are all standing there with towels wrapped around their bodies. Hey, how's it going? Oh, look what the cold brought in. Let me guess, my brother was being a little sleet, and you just had to get away. Not exactly. Though with my nervous laughter, I don't do an entirely good job at making myself very believable. Are you finished with the bath yet? If not, I can wait. Then you're going to be in for a long wait, sister. We haven't even started yet. And this one here likes her bath time like nobody's business. Can we put bubbles in this time, please? Hell no, that stuff makes my skin itch. Plus, you'd ruin the water for everybody else. Oh, stuffings, you never let me have my bubbles. Well, I'm just going to wait for my turn. No way, that's not how it works. We bathe together, like one big happy family. I mean, it is a communal bath, so I guess that's how we're going to do this. Vixen pulls Blitzen into a hug, half suffocating the poor girl as she grips her tightly to her chest, swinging her to and fro. You have to come and bathe with us too, it's so nice. Like, together, all four of us, at once? I mean, well yeah, how else are you going to have a bath? Don't worry, it's big enough to fit 10 Vixens inside, maybe 40. Vixen, I don't think Alice would like it very much. Why not? Who doesn't like having a big old bubbly bath? No bubbles. Alice is human, and she might not feel comfortable with it. Humans don't like the bubbles? Oh wow, no wonder they're so miserable. Is that why magic's... Oh no, I meant the bathing community thing. Group bathing is a practice common only to certain parts of the world, and in the other half is kind of considered inappropriate. Alice is probably from a culture that isn't used to this sort of thing. I see. How holly. Everybody lets out a sigh of relief. I'm just thankful that Vixen's going to drop the issue and let me... Then we must teach her. Were you not listening, Mistletoe for Brains? Alice probably thinks all of this is super holly. Just leave it be. Plus, I'm freezing my butt standing here. But I thought she came here because she wanted to learn more about us. Isn't that right? I mean, sort of. I came here by accident because of the whole blizzard thing, but... See, and don't you think that it's an important part of reindeer culture, Dancer? Grooming rituals are considered excellent bonding activities. And don't you want to have someone around whose chest is clearly smaller than yours for once, Blinky? How rude can you get? That would be... Hey now. Then it's decided. Alice can bathe with us, and we're going to show her all the holly things about bathing together. Doesn't holly mean weird? Oh yeah, with this nutcracker here, things are definitely going to be really, really holly. Look, don't listen to her. If you're not up for it, then you could use the guys' bathing house. They're all out training, and they're not going to be back until after lunch. That's no fun. She'll be all alone. It's kind of the point. So, what do you say? I mean, alone time. Try something new. I guess I'll join you, ladies. This is going to be weird. It definitely is. Good choice. Here we go. Dancer gently ushers me into the changing rooms, while she, Vixen and Blitzen continue on to the next room. I take my clothes off, and my nose is suddenly assaulted by a disturbing scent. I guess I really do smell like a zoo. It's kind of embarrassing. I grab one of the clean towels from the pile in the corner, wrap it around myself, and head out into the bath. There we go. All 3 pairs of eyes are on me as I enter the steamy area. I can't help but feel incredibly self-conscious. I nearly step into the water as I am before noticing that the others' towels are left beside them on the ground, out of the water. You gotta be kidding me. Drop the towel, we can compare. Don't do that shit. Blitzen, miffed and red-faced, elbows Vixen before the blonde can finish her sentence. Just hurry up and get in, ignore her. I practically throw the piece of cloth into the ground as I hurriedly jump into the water. A moderate amount of backsplash hits everybody, and I instantly feel guilty. Oh, sorry. Don't worry, we'll blame this one on Vixen for making you nervous. Dancer glares at her friend, who doesn't seem affected at all. Sis, you're such a pain in the jingle bells sometimes. Wow, don't say that. Ladies don't have jingle bells. They've got, wow, I'm gonna drown you now. Dancer kicks up a splash of water between Blitzen and Vixen, like some sort of liquid wall. Stop it, kids. You're clearly disturbing the guest. They all turn to me, and I'm suddenly aware that my face is twisted into an awkward cringe. Oh, don't mind me. I'm totally okay with it. Dancer slides over to me and hands me a wooden bucket filled with soaps and cloths. You can speak up when things bother you, you know. But ignoring these two, why don't I hope you wash up, dear? You'll be all squeaky clean and shiny when I'm done with you. Isn't that weird? We usually help each other clean up, so no. The only one making things weird is you. Unsure of how to react, I simply nod. Dancer dampens a bar of soap before rubbing it against my back. It's unbelievably embarrassing because Vixen and Blitzen are just watching this happen. Neither of them is saying a word. The only thing I can do to prevent myself from saying anything is remembering that I really stink right now. Yeah, you need that washing. Why do I get the feeling that this is one of those things that you need to grow up with and get used to? So, how's the water? Oh, pretty good. It's warm. Isn't it? Sometimes we scent the water with cinnamon. I turn to look at her and begin laughing at her joke. Wow, you make reindeer tea out of everyone? But the blonde just scrunches up her face and frowns. What a terrible thing to say. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. It was just genuinely funny. Funny? How's that funny? A knock-knock joke's funny. That was just cruel. I'm sorry. When I try to get a word in, Vixen continues to cut me off. Why would you think that we do something like that? It's not that deep, sis. It is. They're the cruel ones, not us. How can Alice just laugh at us like this? It's so... Oh, Kris Kringle. Vixen, you're really overreacting. She obviously didn't mean it like that. Exactly, I'm just saying. Do you think that we're a bunch of cannibalistic weirdos? No, maybe I should go. Maybe you should. I look to Dancer and Blitzen, but both of them seem to be done arguing with Vixen. With a nod from Dancer, I get up and leave. Wow, that was awkward. I don't even make it out of the door before I hear them start to talk about me. Poor Alice. Poor Alice, poor me, my poor ears and my poor nose too. But put a stocking in it, sis. You fluffed up, you know it. What? I leave the bath, not wanting to hear any more, and wait for them outside the changing rooms. Vixen doesn't meet my eyes, but Dancer greets me with a welcoming hug. You look radiant, Alice. Yeah, radiant. Just look at Rudolph's nose, and you're red like it too. Blitzen nudges me, and I laugh a little along with her. I suppose teasing me is how she shows that she likes you. Then, does that mean that she likes Donda too? Do I? Maybe I stayed in there too long. I look over to Vixen, but she still refuses to say anything, or even look at me. I wonder whether or not I should try to make amends with her. I mean, honestly, I don't really like Vixen. She's a bit annoying, but let's try. Let's see what happens. I put my best foot forward and walk over to Vixen. She harumphs and turns her head away from me. Look, about earlier, I know you might be upset about the whole bathtub situation thing, but it doesn't mean I dislike you. Fee fi fo fum. I don't believe you, and you're dumb. Very mature. I think Alice is trying to build a bridge. Don't you think you're being a little mean to her? And isn't being nice supposed to be kind of your thing? Being mean? Am I being mean to you? She looks at me with wide eyes and a confused stare. Is she really this clueless? It's understandable that you're upset. I just wanted to say... Before I can finish, Vixen begins to tear up. She covers her mouth with her hands as a sudden stream of semi-incoherent babble bursts from her mouth. Oh no, I've been awful to you. I didn't mean it, I really didn't. I was just so angry and upset that You hate me, don't you? Yeah, I totally do. Blinky, I've made a horrible mistake and now Alice hates me. What am I gonna do? Listening to her before you start your yapping would be an idea. Please don't hate me. I can't stand the idea of you hating me. She doesn't hate you. I'm so sorry. Off she goes. Vixen pushes past me and runs out of the bathing house in tears. Wow, not this again. I mean, I don't really care. We quickly leave, following after Vixen, when Rudolph shows up and stops Blitzen in her tracks. Where are you going? Where does it look like I'm going? That pixie is going to get herself into trouble if I don't find her. Okay, so where's she going? Not outside the compound. It's dangerous there. I don't know, but if you don't let me go, I'm going to lose track of her. Comet isn't going to like this. He wants everyone back at the house right now. We can't keep him waiting for very long, you know. Comet this, Comet that. My sister's having a bloody episode and all you can do is think about your precious Comet. That's not what I meant, it's just that you know how he is. Blitzen shoves Rudolph away from her into the snow. Her face screws into a foul grimace as she looks down on him. You're a joke, Rudolph, you know that? It's a good thing that you're an orphan, because you don't know the first thing about family. All you know how to do is be a good little drummer boy. This is really fucking harsh. Why you be like that, Blitzen? Blitzen runs off after Vixen without even looking back. Dancer pulls Rudolph out of the snow, and I can see the beginnings of tears making his eyes shine a little bit. He rubs at them, and Dancer looks up to me. You should go back with Rudolph, Alice. I'll go make sure the Forest Fire Sisters don't get into too much trouble, and bring them back as soon as I can. We both nod. And if Comet Wants to get his boxers in a bunch about it? Let him. I'll deal with that fiasco when I get back. A faster runner than I expected, Dancer goes off after the two girls. I really hope that she finds them. She seems to be the only reasonable soul between them. So, let's get back. Comet's waiting. I walk a few steps behind Rudolph, not sure what to say to him as we head back. I'm starting to feel really sorry for the poor misfit reindeer. He just never seems to be able to do the right thing, no matter how hard he tries. Okay, so, more artwork. How long is this going to take? I continue to pace the room, desperately wanting to open the door and demand to know what's going on, but I guess that's why Rudolph's here. I know that if I do anything hasty or out of spite, he'll be the first one to get blamed. It's a devious, dead obvious tactic, but I have to admit that I'm completely falling prey to it. Oh man. I slam my fists down on the desk, conflicted. We could play a game, or talk or something. Something to keep your mind off the time. It's not just the time, Rue. It's the whole being locked in here thing. I feel like an animal in a cage. Does Comet not know how dangerous it is to keep a girl confined without her consent? Well, Comet didn't actually lock us in here. He just kind of, he made a very ambiguous threat about what would happen if we left before he told us to. Yeah, he kind of advised us not to. I sigh, running my hands through my hair in concern. What I really want to find out right now is what Comet and the rest of the reindeer are discussing. When Rudolph and I were demanding to stay in the room, none of the others bothered to look at me or help in any way. They all harboured the same expressions on their faces: worry, distress and anguish. What could they be talking about down there? Sure, it's nothing. The conversation doesn't sound like nothing. During the time that Rudolph and I had spent in the room, trying to decipher the muffled speeches through the walls, there were moments where voices suddenly rise. Even the mild-mannered Prancer gets very vocal about one or two things. The voices never carry enough for me to hear more than a few words. It's all very meaningless and kind of out of context. I'll sit down on one of the armchairs, hugging the zebra pattern cushion to my chest. It's okay, Alice. How do you know? I don't, but sometimes you can kind of just feel it. That, and you always seem to be very optimistic about everything. What's the point in looking at life any other way? I nod and try to take his advice. We play about 6 games of gin rummy before the door finally opens again. The stern scowl on Comet's face isn't a very welcoming sight, but it's kind of offset by the combination of fatigue and uncertainty in his eyes. We'd like to have a word with you two downstairs. I've been waiting so long for this moment, but now I'm not sure why. It must show on my face, because not only does Rudolph take my hand and give it a reassuring squeeze, but Comet tries to look like less of a sourpuss as I pass him. I walk down into the dining room where all of the reindeer are sitting. Comet, please reconsider. What is this? No, the time for talking's over. We've all agreed on this. I know. I just don't feel very confident that this is the right decision. It's too late for concerns now, Dancer. Alice, please, have a seat. We've got a few things that we need to discuss with you. I sit down in the chair Comet motions toward. It's far from the others, but positioned in such a way that I can look at all of them. The problem is that none of them will look at me. They all have their heads bowed and their mouths firmly shut. Comet continues to stand and Rudolph stays behind me. He's probably the only friendly face right now. Everything about this feels like a death sentence. I know that's an exaggeration, but I can't help but feel on edge about what's about to happen next. The blizzard appears to be remaining for an indefinite amount of time, therefore the situation's changed, and we're now making some long-term arrangements for your stay. Long-term? How much longer are we talking? Comet ignores my question and carries on with the announcement, which frankly doesn't help my rising anxiety. Just how long are they going to keep me here for? We've decided that the current situation will require you to have an escort at all times. We can no longer risk having you walk around without proper protection. Protection from what? I never saw a thing when I was outside. Can I explain? Comet looks at Prancer, searching his face for something I don't know, before reluctantly nodding. Go ahead. The blizzard that got you swept up in this was, with further analysis, proven to be not entirely physical. In fact, it's not a blizzard at all, I'm afraid. I'm not completely shocked. The whole time I've been here, I haven't seen a single trace of this so-called blizzard. You see, Santa's village has always been protected by a dome of sorts. It kind of keeps the village from being detected and also makes travelling between this world and the spirit world smoother. There have been some problems recently though. The magic in this world isn't strong enough to sustain us. The dome's faltering. I mean, Santa left to find a solution to fix it, and though he seems to have stumbled upon something of interest, I don't think it's going to be very much help to us, and especially not for you. I let out a shallow breath, taking a second to try and digest all of the information that's being given to me. This is the moment I've been waiting for, right? They're finally giving me answers. Answers that a human can only dream of knowing. So, why is there a dreadful feeling in the pit of my stomach? Okay, so why is this so dangerous? You're not magical, so there's no telling what it's going to do to you. Didn't you find me in the blizzard though? It's true, but it took you 3 days to recover. Another episode like that, and we don't know what's going to happen. Well, what about my parents and the other scientists? They're out there too. The blizzard could harm them too, and it's okay, they'll be fine. They're outside of the danger zone. So there's no other option? I wish there was. Whoever agrees to do this could potentially put themselves in a lot of trouble, which is why I don't think our initial plan is quite so effective. Initial plan? I follow Comet's gaze to the one standing beside me. Rudolph hangs his head in shame, and it all suddenly clicks into my mind. None of them think he can do it. Even Blitzen has to be included. But Rudolph, poor old Rudolph. I can do it. Oh Rudy, it's kind of heroic of you, but we all know you're kind of shit. No, I can do it. I can take care of Alice, and I'm going to prove it to you. Rudolph, it's not up for a discussion. We can't risk you or Alice getting hurt should danger come your way. I mean, even I'm a little bit nervous about the situation. It's not a small thing. Exactly. We've trusted you so far, haven't we? Things just kind of changed. But even Blitzen, why not me? My family is known for their magical abilities. That's it. It's a fact. Dealing with stink like this is in my blood, and you're just not cut from the same cloth, Rue. I am, though. It's not for you to decide. Alice, you have to choose who'd like to escort you around for as long as the blizzard lasts. However, considering the way it's developing, I want everyone to know they have the option to refuse her request. And if they all refuse, then what? We will have to restrict your freedoms, keep you in the cottage, and monitor you here. Comet's making this sound a lot more scary than it actually is, Alice. This is all just a precaution. It is, of course, possible that the blizzard won't have any effect on you. The solar snowflake usually only reveals itself to creatures with magical properties. Now, we're not saying that you're magic, but perhaps you do have enough belief in you that the blizzard would not pose a threat to you. There's no way of knowing this for sure, though, and it's too much of a risk. Okay, so can I have some time to think about it? Of course you can. I stand up and leave the room. Rudolph starts to follow after me, but Comet stops him with a hand on his shoulder. She's no longer your responsibility, buddy. It's okay, Rue. I just need a bit of time to think alone. I don't think I'll ever forget the look on his face. He seems so defeated, and my heart hurts for him. But if this situation really is as dangerous as everyone says it is, the last thing I want to do is cause Rudolph any more trouble. As I make my way back to Comet's room, I can't help but feel disheartened. Quietly closing the door behind me, I sit on the bed and try to think as logically as I can. The whole situation seems like a complete mess. A dome around Santa's workshop, Santa leaving because he knew what was coming, a spirit world. It's all a bit much. It's hard to wrap my head around the circumstances, but I suddenly remember something that Mama told me a few years back. Don't be overwhelmed by new information. The world and the universe is full of things that we cannot even begin to comprehend, which is why you need to embrace it, learn from it, and do something about it. Replace the fear of the unknown with curiosity, because the future belongs to the curious. The ones who are not afraid to try it, explore it, poke at it, question it, and turn it inside out. The important thing is not to stop questioning. And just when I think I've got my head around everything, there's a knock on the door. Comet walks in with his hand in his pockets. Have you decided? I give a hesitant nod. I think I know who I want to escort me. The real question is if they're going to agree to it. I choose. And that is the end. Leaving on that suspenseful note. Okay, so this was a bit of a fun, weird little game. So that was all of Santa's reindeers, and frankly, yeah, maybe not even half the characters were cool. I thought it was quite fun. Normally with a visual novel, you have a lot of characters, and you could kind of like see the good side in all of them. And some of these characters were pretty much hostile, and they just didn't like me at all, which was it was a bit of a refreshing break from some of the other visual novels I've played. It was a little bit different, so why not play something like this for Christmas? Because this is the only time I could frankly play a game like this, because it is Christmas coming up very soon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a bit weird, but what's wrong with that? And I hope you have a good Christmas as it comes up as well. And this is Usho signing off, and hopefully I'll see you next time.